Hey everyone, so just thought I'd do a quick follow-up from the Wizard Wednesdays on the current live running trade on XRP. So we did have what is likely one of the most horrific wicks I've ever seen that actually pulled all the way back up, and price didn't even attempt to refill this region or even go all the way back down once, as we've seen now. A nice smooth transition. Essentially, this was a huge stop hunt before what I believe is a massive surge to the next upside targets of around 0.37 and hopefully breaching 0.4 eventually as well. So before we can actually exceed those targets, we of course have the very strong long-term trend line here around 0.335 to 0.337, confluencing with the trend line third bounce as well. Again, we could easily cheat. I know some people do this. I don't really do this anymore. I used to do this in the early days. Again, you can obviously consider this as well a trend line in itself, 1, 2, 3. But I would like to focus more on the long term, because once this one is broken, we can very easily see a potential retest and a surge straight up to those upside regions. So having a little look now on the 4 hour, looking very good. Essentially, this huge manipulative candle is just a massive spike through what was initially going to be a normal upside surge anyway. So I was unfortunately caught in the stop loss hunt as well. Not to really worry as of now. On the daily, we're looking pretty good. Moving averages are almost about to cross over to the upside. If you can see here, we are at breaking point again. So seeing a daily crossover, I do believe would launch us pretty sky high right now. And again, the daily targets, we have the long-term moving average over here as well. I won't give these away just yet, but the long-term moving averages are fluctuating between 0.4 and around 0.37 anyway. So a nice intermediary target for a long-term surge. And we have to remember, when this thing does rocket, it does absolutely rocket to the sky. And looking at these daily candles is a good example. Looking at these huge movements in a single day, it's very easy to project these upside targets happening very rapidly. I mean, if you actually mimic that candle there, one single daily surge can take you straight to 0.37, and that is kind of the aim of this specific trade I'm going for. Again, on the daily, huge spike to the upside, never breached it. Huge spike to the downside, stop loss hunt, as the overall bias right now is of course an upside bias. We are looking pretty bullish right now. There has been a slow and steady increase in higher highs and higher lows as well. So as of now, using this as a long-term perspective and using the 1 hour time frame, just quickly break it down again. Not too essential, but looking now, we are breaking out above this region as well. 2.5 minutes left on this candle. Finally, we are starting to close above this prior resistance level of 0.32145, or even 150 if you want to be more precise. So breaking above here, we may have a quick retest and tap before continuing higher, but overall I believe we're looking very bullish on this upside movement right now, and the trade's running in pretty good profit so far. I am targeting, to be honest with you, around 0.37 to 0.38. That will be around a $20,000 profit on the trade, with a relatively small position size of 2 lots as well. Unfortunately, if you were using the Hugo's Way platform as well, normally when there is an issue with such liquidity, you can actually get a refund and they'll reimburse you. However, with this specific spike, this was not due to Hugo's Way itself, but actually due to Bitfinex. Now, Hugo's Way uses Bitfinex, which is the largest liquidity provider. So if Bitfinex cannot honor the order book, meaning there was not enough orders to actually trigger us at our stop loss price, many people got wiped out at the next best market price, which would have been slightly lower. That is at no fault of Hugo's Way, and it's actually only down to Bitfinex and liquidity. This is an unfortunate circumstance of the crypto market right now, and as the liquidity slowly but surely increases over time, then this issue will be eradicated and you will be able to get out exactly where you aim to be taken out at your stop loss. So again, this is why stop losses are so important. If you didn't have a stop loss on a long trade like this, you would have been eradicated in a matter of seconds, because once it broke through this trend line, I actually tried to quickly close my position as I was watching it in real time. But what unfolded, if we even go to the 5-minute chart, I don't think it shows it. It's the 5-minute chart over here. Once we actually snapped and broke below, I tried to get out quite quickly, but then it just melted, and it was pretty unfortunate. No one could really escape that. But as of now, it has provided a great opportunity to go long, as we can see. Moving averages broken above, crossed over to the upside, above all of the moving averages on the 4 hour, retested, tapped one last time, and it should at least take us to 0.337 relatively easily. Same goes for BTC, absolutely rocketing off that Wizard Wednesdays call. Trendline was snapped, as you were seeing. We were ascending, but slowly wedging closer to a boiling point. Huge spike on both sides as well. Again, it did cause some confusion in the beginning, but looking at the overall perspective, it does not change. It's just a simple stop hunt. When we did begin breaking out, I did get quite excited expecting it to occur, but then what followed, if I just extend this out a little bit, we broke through, potentially retested twice. I do consider that a retest on the 4 hour and absolutely rocketed. So the 4 hour is now closed, very nice above this region. Could see a little pullback, maybe to 3,980, sorry, 3,980. See spikes around this region, but overall, if you are long, you should be in good profit already. And going to the 1 hour, no need to really look at this now. Broken above, snapped, little pullback potentially, but overall, from the daily, now we're starting to overtake these wicks over here, breaking through quite nicely. First upside target is, of course, the I keep saying naught of XRP, the 4,100 region to 4,120. That is looking like the very first upside target. From there, we can see a slight pullback expected, maybe all the way down to 4,040, but overall the upside target remains 4,220, which I believe should be met in a matter of days now, and potentially even in a day or two, if this upside momentum can sustain. Again, using this as a good indicator, this candle dropped from 4,260 all the way down to 3,800 in a single 4 hour candle. This market is capable of many things, and this is just one of those good examples where there's been a lot of consolidation, a lot of good upside movements, but we have been lacking a serious bullish breakout or a bearish breakout. So I do believe that is coming very soon, hopefully in the formation of one of these candles as well, and we could be in for a very profitable week to finish off. Again, one loser out of 5. If this pulls through, we jump straight back into the next and recover those losses with a very significant move.